Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Monday, November the 10th, 2025, and hope you had a good day watching the boxing yesterday. As quick it was that it was all over. Bit of a build up to the fight with the undercard. It was like a three and a half hour undercard, plus the actual prelims before the prelims, if that makes sense. I think it kicked off at like 9 o'clock. The main event come on close to 3:30, all over by about 3:45. So it was a big day. I was lucky I had actually some work to do on the computer and stuff, so I was just sort of sat there doing it during the day, and then just had the fight sort of going beside me on a screen. So yeah, disappointing. We'll get into that in a second. Well, not disappointing. Disappointing for Erickson Lubin, of course, not so much for Virgil Ortiz, but we'll get into that in a second. But firstly, on this day, of course, November 10th, we'll go back to 1931. James J. Braddock was it a no contest against Slapsy Maxie Rosenblum in Minneapolis. Slapsy Maxie. What else have we got there? Come here, buddy. Hang on. Just make sure this guy doesn't go on the road. Come here, buddy. All right, hang on. Across the road. Something he doesn't normally do, little fella, across this road. He likes to be on this other side, but anyway. Come here, buddy. All right, what else have we got? 1978. Larry Holmes defended his world heavyweight title with a 7th round knockout of Alfredo Evangelista in Las Vegas. Also in 1978, must have been on the same card, Alexis Arguello with a 15-round decision over Arturo Leon to retain the world 130-pound title. I'll get to the one in 1983 in a second. I think that was, the 2001. Floyd Mayweather with a 9th round knockout of Jesus Chavez in San Francisco to retain the world 130-pound title. 2001, Manny Pacquiao with a technical 6th round draw over Agapito Sanchez in San Francisco. He retained the IBF 130-pound title. And I think that was about, there's a couple more there, sorry. Miguel Cotto with a 12-round decision over Sugar Shane Mosley in New York City. That was a ripper fight, that one. Great atmosphere too. That was for the world welterweight title. And 2007, Joel Casamaya with a 12-round decision over Jose Armando Santa Cruz in New York City. So it must have been the same card. Now back to 1983, and it was the scene of the, one of the biggest fights, I suppose, of the generation. Depends on which way you look at it. It was Marvelous Marvin Hagler with a 15-round decision over the legendary Roberto Duran, who was just in Australia for a speaking tour and an appearance tour, which was great. The fight took place at Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, for all the belts, 3 belts at that stage, WBA, WBC, and IBF. The records: Hagler 57 2-2, 47 knockouts. Manos Di Piedra 77-4, 58 knockouts. Hagler was 29 years, 5 months old. Duran was 32 years and 4 months old. Purses: Hagler $5 million, Duran $1.5 million. So the official result, look, it was a pretty dull fight in the end. It was a big build-up. Duran coming off that win over Davey Moore. Who could forget that fight? Just came from nowhere to win the 154-pound title with an unbelievable performance. Stopped Davey Moore, I think, in the 8th round, I think it was. Dropped Davey Moore and had Madison Square Garden on its feet. Hagler was coming off the win over, I think it was Hampshire. I think it was. Just 1 second. I've got his record here. No, it was Wilfred Scipion. He was coming off a win over, but he'd beaten Hampshire before that, and Tony Simpson as well. So that was that. The scores: Hagler with an unanimous decision, 142 Sorry, 144, 142. So it was actually pretty close. 144, 143, and 146, 145. Excuse me there. So that means he won by, what, 1 point on 2 of the cards, 2 points on the other card. So that is amazing. I actually thought it was always a lot more one-sided than that. So that means one judge had 6 rounds even, 5 rounds to 4 with 6 rounds even. The other one had it, well, that's a bit 7 rounds to 6 with 2 rounds even, and the other one had it 8 rounds to 6 with 1 round even. So there you go. That was marvellous Marvin Hagler with a 15-round decision over the legendary Roberto Duran. And after this fight, Hagler would actually go on to fight Thomas Hearns in one of the greatest fights of all time. He also beat John the Beast Mugabe before losing the middleweight title to Sugar Ray Leonard. Duran, well, we all thought he was finished because even just a couple of fights after this, I think he actually lost his next fight up to us. I won't go the record now, but pretty sure he lost to Marvin Hagler's half-brother a couple of fights after this, Robbie Sims. And everyone thought he was finished. He sort of came back with a few wins, nothing flash or anything like that. Just kept in there. Got well, some people think a charity world title fight with Iran Barkley, who had just come off a 3rd-round knockout of Thomas Hearns. Actually, we'll go back a little bit. After this fight, he was knocked out by Thomas Hearns straight after this fight, by the way. I forgot about that one. Who could forget that? So Hearns knocked him out in 2 rounds. Then I think a couple of fights later he lost to Robbie Sims, and then, as I said, sort of just went through the motions for the next few years and got that shot against Iran Barkley. Similar to the Davey Moore fight, upset a fighter that he had no sort of reason to be beating, I suppose. Was Iran the Blade Barkley, and they took that WBC middleweight title again in one of the greatest performances that I've ever seen from a fighter of that age. He would have been, 39 years of age, just amazing. So that's what happened on this day back in boxing history. All right, on to yesterday's fight. Well, if you can call it a fight, it was just a demolition, wasn't it? Vergil Ortiz with a 2nd-round stoppage of Erickson Lubin. Look, at my prediction yesterday, I thought the fight would start fast, and it did. I just expected Erickson Lubin to give Vergil Ortiz something to think about for sort of 8 or 9 rounds, or maybe even 12 rounds. Wasn't the case. Vergil Ortiz, as expected, jumped right on Erickson Lubin. I thought Erickson Lubin sort of went with him okay, but then in the first round, I thought I gave the round to Vergil Ortiz, even though Erickson Lubin had a couple of moments, I suppose. He sort of held his own for most of the round. But the second round, what was Erickson Lubin thinking, just sitting on the ropes? I just don't get it. I would have thought the game plan would have been, look, Ortiz is dangerous early. He starts fast. He likes to assert his dominance. Just get on the bike a little bit, give him some angles, just twist him, turn him, tie him up, just take a little bit of the fizz out of the fight, and then maybe pick it up after 3 or 4 rounds. That's what I would have said to Lubin, but for some reason he laid on the ropes. But worse than that, he wasn't sort of punching back. Was it some sort of rope-a-dope or whatever it was? He was a dope, all right. I mean, just laying on the ropes with his hands up, not really trying to negate Ortiz either. It wasn't like he was trying to tie him up or set little traps for him inside or whatever it might be. Just laid on the ropes with his hands up, trying to withstand the barrage. It just didn't make sense. And Ortiz, if you watch him with those sneaky little things he does with his hands, with his gloves, he pulls down the gloves of his opponent. He was doing that yesterday with Lubin, pulling down the gloves and then hooking or uppercutting or whatever in close. Just really, really good tactics from Vergil Ortiz. Very smart and so well trained by Robert Garcia, isn't he? But yeah, I mean, Ortiz, I just don't think he would have, well, probably couldn't believe how easy that was. I mean, Ortiz, Lubin just to stand on the ropes and sort of let him tee off and pull those gloves down and rip and hook and go to the body, go to the head, just do whatever he wanted to do and not really fight back. It just didn't make much sense. But that's his 3rd stoppage loss now for Erickson Lubin, and you would think it's going to be a tough one to come back from that. And The only thing I could probably see for Lubin going forward is probably now well, as they call him, a bit of a gatekeeper, I suppose, a journeyman or whatever. I mean, that might be a little bit harsh. He's done pretty well to get to where he is now, but he's had 3 big fights and he's been stopped in all 3 of them. 2 of them without really giving a yelp. 1 round against Charlo, 2 rounds against Ortiz. Went the 9 rounds with Fundora. But you got to wonder where his sort of standing is now, whether he'll get another big fight. I mean, who knows? He could be the perfect opponent down the track for Tim Tszyu if he gets a win or 2 under his belt. You never know. It could be a good confidence builder for Tim and a name and all the rest of it. But I think we've got a long way to go before that is the case. But you've got to wonder what happens to him now. And Virgil Ortiz, well, geez, the world's his oyster. He's suddenly the most in-demand fighter in the sport, isn't he, really? He had, of course, Boots Ennis in the ring afterwards. He was at ringside. That was probably the most logical fight. Seems to be the fight they're all pushing, of course, in the ring with the little barbs against each other. But also, I think Errol Spence was in the crowd as an interested observer. I'm not quite sure what he's got left. It's been 2.5 years since he's fought, so I think we might have seen the end of Errol Spence. Jamal Charlo was there as well, and that's an intriguing one for me. Jamal Charlo. I mean, he hasn't fought for over 2 years either, so you would think he would need at least a couple of fights, but he seems to want to back himself and fight Ortiz. I don't think that would end too well for Jamal Charlo. It's been 2 years out of the ring, coming down from 168 to 154. I don't think that's really good news for Jamal Charlo. I think that would be a pretty comfortable win for Virgil Ortiz, but they're talking about, I mean, maybe the one that doesn't probably get, I don't think, enough attention is the fight with Fundora. Why isn't that being discussed? Fundora's probably going to fight in January or February against Thurman. If he gets past that, why wouldn't that fight be brought up? Because, and I'm just sort of venting, I suppose. I just think it makes a lot more sense for Ortiz to fight Fundora next. He's the interim champion of the WBC. He's Fundora's mandatory. I think that fight makes more sense at this stage. I just think you need to sort of build the storyline. And yes, I would love to see Ennis and Virgil Ortiz. I think it'd be a great fight. I just think we need to set the stage, not just sort of throw them in there next. I think if you had Ortiz fighting Fundora next, maybe mid-year, maybe even before that, maybe April, May, whatever it might be, depends on when Fundora fights Thurman. But let's just say it's even May or June. Ortiz wins, if he does win, of course, that'll be still a tough fight for him. But if he beats Fundora, he's got the belt. Boots Ennis can have another fight in the interim as well, and just build the fight a little bit more. I think, look, boxing fans, of course, would love to see the fight, but I just think if they want to make it just as massive a fight as it probably deserves to be, I just think they need to build the narrative just a little bit more. I mean, because if they fight next, there's no world title on the line. You can call it an interim title fight, whatever. I mean, mate, I just hate this interim title bullshit. If they want to fight for this interim thing, but just don't get in the ring and parade belts and all this sort of stuff around and call him the interim champion of the world. I mean, what does that mean anyway? You're not the world champion. You're just, I mean, you sort of got a title of interim world champion, but you're not the world champion. So I even mentioned the word in the introductions. But anyway, I just think that makes more sense to me. To have Ennis have one more fight, and a quality fight this time, not just another fight like he had last time, but let Ortiz fight Fundora, win the belt, and then, if he can win the belt, and then fight at the end of the year for a world title. I just think that makes more sense. Now, having said that, yes, of course, I would love it if they fought next, but I'm just thinking of building the fight up as much as they can, maximise the marketing power of the fight, purses, all that sort of stuff, and just maybe make both guys a little bit more well known than what they are. I know most boxing fans, of course, know exactly who they are, but just to try and build a little bit more of an audience and a little bit more of a spectacle. I mean, Robert Garcia said after the fight he can see Ortiz as the next massive pay-per-view star. I'm still to be convinced of that, to be honest. But if he's going to do that, then I just think he needs to build his career like Canelo Alvarez did and just fight the right people at the right time. And as I said, even though the Ennis fight's a big one, not so sure it's the right one next. I just think he needs that world title belt. But anyway, plenty of options for him going forward, and just another chapter in what's happening at 154, isn't it? You've got Zayos and Barral fighting next, so they're going to unify 2 of the belts. So what's the other one? The WBO, which is... who's got the WBO? Am I missing something here? Jeez, I've got a mental blank. Zayos, of course. So Zayos is WBO. Come here, buddy. This way. Sorry, mental blank there. Zayos has got WBO. Barras is WBA. Oh, Murders. What's his name? Yeah, Bakram Murders Aliyev. It's a little bit earlier in the morning. Sorry, guys. So he's the next one. He's obviously going to fight Josh Kelly. So lots of little things that are going to happen soon, or not little things, big things. So really excited about what's coming for the 154-pound division as far as the quality of the fights. It looks like all the fighters want to fight each other, which is great. So come here, man. I'll just grab this little guy. Here's a little dog coming. Good morning, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
I think they've met before.
Have they? Yep,
Oh no, we're not interested.
not interested today. Jeez, not the most sociable dog, little Neil. He's had a quick sort of g'day, and that was about it. So anyway, a lot of big things happening at 154. What else is going on at the moment? Let's have a quick look. I've made a couple of notes today. Zurdo Ramirez looks like he's going to be back in the first quarter of 2026, which seems a little bit early for me. Oscar De La Hoya was interviewed over the weekend and said he's recovering really well. What was it? Was it 6 months ago? No, probably not even. He had that operation, and it looks like he wants him in the ring in January or February. I mean, we're at actually mid-November at the moment, so obviously no opponent. There's no or nothing sort of on the drawing board for him at the moment. So I'd be surprised it was January, February. I'm probably thinking more like March or April, I think would be the go for him. Still won't mention Jai Patai's name, which is interesting. He keeps sort of mentioning all sort of different fights. He did actually mention David Benavides is the one, but then on top of that, or contrary to that, David Benavides said the other day that he wants to fight at 175 for the next 5 years. 5 years, yes. And then fight at cruiserweight after that. Now, I think Jai Patai will be well and truly gone by then, of course. He'll be 35 years of age. He'll be probably well and truly at heavyweight, probably having a few different fights at heavyweight by then, established at the weight. So I would be surprised. I'd be surprised if David Benavides sticks to that. There's not that many 175-pound fights out there for him besides Beterbiev and Bivol, in my opinion. So how long will he stay at the weight and just sort of beat up those guys? If he can't get better, I think Beterbiev is probably going to retire anyway. I don't think he's got many big fights left in him, and Bivol's probably the one. So more dogs there. Come here, buddy. How you doing? Come here. Come here. Come here, buddy. Come here.
Friendly,
Yeah, it's all good. All good. He's the same. It's a bit of a turf war. Come here, buddy. This way. Sometimes out here on the walk, it's like being in the movie The Warriors, fair income, trying to get home, trying to bop our way back with all the different dogs that you encounter. Most of them are actually pretty friendly, but you do get a few that want to have a crack. It's always the small dogs, always the small ones that want to have a crack. Most of the dogs actually love Neil, but yeah, there's a few probably like that guy there. Didn't really like Neil around his area. But yeah, so again, I'd be surprised if Benavides hangs around for 5 years. I mean, the Bivol fight's probably the one I think that will happen. I think Bivol and Benavides will fight. I think if Bivol wins, or actually I think whoever wins that fight could actually move to what is it, cruiserweight, 200, to fight a Jai or a Zurdo. It just makes all the sense, doesn't it? I don't think, apart from fighting a rematch, I just don't see many other options at 175. So, you know, so much going on between 175 and 200. So many big fights, but at the moment, a lot of it's sort of been spoken about, but they sort of continue to contradict each other, and promoters contradict each other. And meanwhile, the fighters are just sitting on the shelf, just waiting for the phone to ring. So, either way, Same as the 154-pound division. A lot of good fights to be made between 175 and 200. We'll see what happens there. And I did mention yesterday, by the way, the Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson fight looks like it is going to be in New York City on January 31st. Really looking forward to that fight. Sort of. I'll put an asterisk beside it. I'm looking forward to having two unbelievable fighters in the same ring at the same time, staring across at each other in the ring. I'm just very apprehensive about the fight itself. What sort of fight are we going to get? Both of them very, very tricky, very cagey, very well schooled. They both like to have opponents come to them. What sort of fight are we going to get? Is it going to be an absolute chess match? Is it going to be a brawl? Do we get a little bit of what we had with Zepeda and Stevenson, where Stevenson decides to stand and fight, and maybe Lopez decides to go back to what he was like as a lightweight and stand and fight? I don't know. I've just got a sneaky suspicion, as good as the fight would be on paper, I've just got a feeling that the two of them in the ring might not be the best matchup, but we'll see. But the main thing is the fight's being made. But having said that, guys, have an awesome Monday, and we'll catch you tomorrow.